Okay. I need all of the Christian women to come to the front. Okay.
Okay. What's up?
Are you tired of being second-class citizens?
Wrong religion, babe. But we all know you're too much of a coward to come for this religion.
I know at your women's conferences, you talk about Esther. Esther was a victim of human trafficking.
What an embarrassing lie. That's wild. What victim of trafficking becomes the queen of the most powerful empire of her era? Esther was not trafficked. She was raised by her uncle. She lived among her people, and when the time came, she was brought to the palace for a royal pageant, just like all the other young women of the time. Esther became the queen of Persia, and she was ruling beside the king, who commanded an empire that stretched from India to Ethiopia. Esther had so much favor that she interrupted royal law and approached the king unsummoned. This was something that would earn you the death sentence. And let's not forget, she saved her people from genocide, and the king offered her half his kingdom. That is half of 127 provinces. Which victim of trafficking gets that?
But a woman was the first one to witness the resurrection. And? Do we have a gospel for her? Oh, so we do have a gospel, but it's not been canonized.
What you need to understand is that canonization has nothing to do with gender. It is about apostolic authority and divine inspiration. Mary Magdalene was the first person ever to see the risen Lord. And you call that oppression? That is divine entrustment.
Well, Jesus spoke to the woman at the well. Yeah, and how did he speak to her? He said, go get your husband. He said, give me a drink, ho.
Ma'am, that is not what Jesus said. He asked her a question. Will you give me a drink? You know, as in consent. The question about her husband was a setup for revelation. Jesus revealed to her that he knew things about her that only God could know. And what happened is that she became the first evangelist. She went back to her town and told the people all about Jesus, and many Samaritans believed in him because of her.
How did he speak to the Canaanite woman whose daughter needed to be healed? It's not right to take the children's bread and feed it to a bitch. Called her a dog.
Yeah, let's not twist scripture to prove a point. It's not cute. Jesus wasn't insulting the Syrophoenician woman. He was testing her faith and her humility. He was making a theological point about Israel's covenant priority. You know, salvation was to come to the Jews first and then to the Gentiles. This woman was a Gentile. You see, Jesus was saying that he has to honor his commitment to Israel first. And guess what? She passed the test. Her daughter was healed, and Jesus rewarded her faith. Not because of gender or ethnicity. And you missed the entire lesson.
Paul doubled down on it in 1 Timothy 2, saying that, oh, well, you have an opportunity to be saved through childbearing.
Paul isn't saying here that women are going to make it to heaven simply because they have children. Sozo is the Greek word used for saved here. It means to preserve or protect. Paul was referring to God's protection of a woman's dignity and role through godly motherhood. If Jesus hated women so much, why didn't he agree with the people trying to stone the adulterous woman? He said, he who is without sin may cast the first stone. Jesus was the only one without sin. So why did he let her go? In fact, he told her, I do not condemn you. Why did he defend the woman who broke the jar of expensive oil and anointed his head? Everyone else was accusing her and saying this was a foolish thing to do because she could have sold the perfume and gave the money to the poor. Jesus said, leave her alone. She has done a beautiful thing to me. If Christianity was so oppressive, why did Jesus speak to women in public? Why did he respect them? Why did he show them deep love and care and concern? Why would he challenge societal norms? This was all in a patriarchal society that often denigrated women. If Jesus thought so low of women, why would he break this cultural gender barrier?
So are y'all ready to wake up? Because I'm out here with open arms, ready to receive.
Babe, we're wide awake. We just don't get our doctrine from TikTok rants.